throughout the season.
I'm ready to get into it.
All right, looks like we're going to be transitioning over. It is going to be Night Market for the first map here, so is going to be here on the blue side, Core Overflow, on the red side, Comeback Kings. And I do see Streak is on here, is marked as goalie, so it looks like it is going to be Streak playing goalie here for Core Overflow. We'll see about Comeback Kings.
So Night Market, we get the Atlas ban, which is pretty common. We also see Asher and Julie Hubbard. I don't know if they're going to go with them. Usually you know, both are brawlers. You want the... Okay, I was expecting the Jakar swap. We're looking to get some kills here. Int Overflow has played plenty of Jakar, and Jakar is extremely strong right now. But I fear people, or he is a character with a high skill ceiling, in my opinion, where not everyone can get that same value out of him. We see people like Puffy or Vaughn play him at such a high level. So I'm hoping Int Overflow can perform. On the other side, we got Kai Jakar Zentaro coming out. So rather than the Julie Mirror, which I was expecting, we're going to get Zentaro Julie as our brawlers. But Streak on Amy will most likely be able to provide a little bit more KO pressure, just being Strike Shot Amy and the goalie.
Yeah, and looks like it is going to be Cameron in for Yeesh once again here for Comeback Kings. So Daftgrass going to be filling in that goalie position, it looks like. And excited to see this Zentaro play. We saw a double Zentaro game just before this on stream, so saw some really great performances there. Ready to check out how it's going to look on this side. Looks like somebody's got their name turned off. That has got to be...
I believe that's double.
Yeah, that's got to be
BO3.
double. Yeah, I think so.
And immediately, if you noticed, there was almost a kill from like center stage on Cameron from double. Already, both Jakars are broken stagger-wise. We got everyone running around. Streak is on the top side of the map, nowhere near his goal, but thanks to the cyber swipe, is able to make it back just in time.
Nice knockout on the top side, going to be a numbers advantage here now for the side of Comeback Kings. Looking to see what they can push in. Their goal is opened up here, though, and Streak knocking it down towards the bottom side into Overflow. Going to come back on up now. Going to even up those numbers. As Juliet coming in on the top side, looking to bash it in there with the Flame Flurry. Can't quite find the angle. Into Overflow doesn't land the lock and load, but another knockout there for the Juliet is going to open it up for Core Overflow.
Yeah, and that's a big KO early as well, denying an early core flip while we don't have these levels and awakenings right now. So Daftgrass starting at 0 or just that 1 bar is going to be put a little bit behind.
Yeah, getting word, it is Elo Heaven on the Juliet, so we'll keep that in mind as we go forward. Maybe get them to turn their name back on for game number 2 if we can. Taking a fair bit of damage, though, getting pressured by Double BO3, who is looking to finish the job and is going to successfully take down one of the barriers while they're at it.
I didn't even notice Double BO3 is on the other side with name on.
Oh, well, there you go. That's all the evidence we need right there, as they are going to throw down that Firewall Sentry, manage to take out a barrier of their own on the side of Core Overflow. Streak just trying to buy a little bit of time here, looking to send it out exactly where they want it. That is going to be the goal open, and Cameron just smacks it in.
You can see a lot of pressure there. So Elo Heaven on Juliet was running around staggered, just trying to play his life. But in the meantime, Cameron walked up, Jakar's shotgun, has his core flip, and is able to take the last barrier and score it on his own. Doesn't need his teammate at all. And that's like one of the benefits of Jakar. His scoring pressure, or the ability to break those barriers, is so strong just between left click, right click on the strike plus the shotgun combo.
Really great utilization of the character there. Seeing a lot of Jakar bans today. This time it makes it through, and not a surprise to see it on both teams. Into Overflow. I'm just trying to knock it back over, trying to keep things away from that topside barrier. Will get the topside barrier himself, and that's a kill on the side of Elo Heaven as well. So that's going to be an opened up goal. Looking to see if they can score, and they can. Into Overflow does it all on his own.
Yeah, really big. We get a KO, immediate double barrier, and then it's the reverse shotgun in the sense of first it was Cameron, and then now it's Into Overflow. So it looks like the Jakars are the ones making the difference at the moment. I wasn't aware of the starting awakening, but I think that looked like slightly longer range on the shotgun. So I don't know if that's missile prop or aerials. But that does make a big difference on how much power Jakar has, especially on Night Market, which is such a big map.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see the damage there from that bolt doing so much. Molten Bolt forcing them back. Double BO3 now shattered, really at risk of going down, and will. But Cameron, ready to score, capitalizes on the distraction.
Really good invisible from him. Not knowing where to hit his streak, tries to clear it down, assuming that Cameron would still be slightly above, but the movement speed is so high when you go invisible that it's just like hard to realize where the Drakkar can actually end up.
Yeah, for sure, especially once you start getting some upgrades in there. If it is aerials or something like that, might also be given a little bit of additional speed while in the Xeno Cloak. Now knocking back over Elo Heaven, going to have it moved away from him a little bit here. Int Overflow doing his best to get it down on the bottom side. Already one barrier down here for the side of Core Overflow. Int going to even that up. Cameron now staggered, at risk of going down. Nearly takes him out, does Elo Heaven. He does manage to stay alive, but he's forced completely out of the engagement for the time being. Daftgrass, though, great defense, managing to keep them at bay, managing to even stagger the Juliet himself.
Cameron's doing a wonderful job of playing his life. That was multiple cooldowns put into him, probably like 3 or 4 interactions of just people trying to kill him, and he has simply not died, always being able to live or find an escape. And that plays a big deal because those cooldowns are what you need to break the barriers. And you can see this entire time, while they were trying to kill Cameron, they made no progress on that final barrier, and now the pressure is being turned on to the other side.
Double BO3 clears it back out with another core flip. Streak is ready to receive, though. Cameron is staggered, so is Int, but Int wins the one-on-one. Drakkar v. Drakkar goes over to Int Overflow. Now moving it back up over to Elo Heaven. The numbers advantage. Streak is going to come out of the goal, is going to look to bust in through this last barrier. Daftgrass doing a great job of playing defense for now, but will end up getting the goal opened up onto him. But that's a kill back onto Elo Heaven, and now the numbers advantage moves over to Comeback Kings. Will they be able to turn this into a double open goal situation? Hard to call for now, as Streak has played defense very well, and Int is managing to keep it on this side. Goes for the flip, gets it stuffed back in his face by Cameron. And now the respawn here for Elo Heaven.
I really like how Streak played that, just playing it slow, giving time for Elo Heaven to come back. They didn't need to push it in, and even without Elo Heaven there, Int Overflow was able to finish it himself. But I like how he played it, and I was hoping to see a little bit more aggressive use of that core flip from Streak. But either way, the stall was really good, and pretty much just neutralized the entire situation, allowing them to get their teammate back and score.
Great first round there here for the side of Core Overflow. They do manage to get themselves that 1-0 lead. Now, getting into the draft here does look like that hot shot is going to be infinite, so that's going to be picked up, I would think, by more than one, but so far it's only gone over to the Kai.
Typically, Hotshot ends up being more used by the goalies, but Amy wants the Deadeye here so that he can support his teammates more. The glitch pop with Deadeye just provides such a high KO pressure, even without having them staggered. It's like a good, like I would say like a quarter of the field in, the Amy can KO, but didn't need to do it there. Looks like
we did
Julia
solve a
is doing it
mystery
just fine.
from earlier, by the way, Mystic. It was aerials on that Drakkar all along, so
Yeah.
got that one solved for ourselves here, as Cameron's taking a fair bit of damage. Now going to be at risk of getting knocked out. Does get knocked down into Overflow once again, just keeping the pressure on the opposing Drakkar in the mirror match.
And
now
take a look at the adrenaline rush going off. It's such an insane movement speed boost, lasting forever. We saw it in the qualifiers too, but you just get the full map control. And Int Overflow again with the shotgun, putting it in on that top corner.
Fantastic run for Int so far. Every time he and Cameron face off, it seems like it's Int coming out with the kills. He's got the XP advantage and is really making it felt here, now up to level 6. Moving forward, and there's Elo Heaven taking out the Drakkar once again. Numbers advantages for Core Overflow over and over and over again in this match. And Int Overflow now going to look to see what they can turn it into.
Yeah, look at how much Int Overflow is doing in the midfield, but just as I say, the commentator's curse gets taken out between Cameron and Daftgrass's Giga Blast. But Streak has done a really good job of holding it down himself. Elo Heaven doesn't even need his partner there. Just playing forward and stuffing it in. Julia in the corner is so powerful, and if you don't have that barrage or Giga Blast up to push her away, it's a free score every time.
Elo Heaven in the 2-on-3. Just making it look as though it was uneven for the other side. And just going to get another kill here, constantly taking members off the board. And it just feels like there's no way left to play here for the side of Comeback Kings when they're constantly down a member. Streak going to give up a little barrier there. Does flip it back over, though, and make things even. So now we're back to full on 3-on-3. There's going to be the Oni's Blade from Double BO3 going to look to pick up a knockout for the Comeback Kings for the first time in a while, but immediately just going aggressive, going to get turned back around on, and that's going to be Elo Heaven off the board. Now into Overflow, going to see what they can get done, if they can replicate the success that their partner had earlier on, but with so little stagger, looks like they might get knocked out themselves.
Really good defense from Streak over there, managing to protect it against Daftgrass walking up and double BO3. Almost got a kill on Cameron. He still could potentially be going down. Into Overflow, while low, is not staggered at the moment. I think he's looking for Cameron at this exact moment. Ooh, good elusive from Cameron. Almost enough to push him all the way to the edge with the glitch pop. But both Jakar is staggered right now. Get their own... Oh, no. Strike shot into his own goal. I assume he was just trying to walk up and strike it backwards, but wasn't close enough. Or trying to hit it up into the barrier as it was expanding to get a bounce back.
Bit of a goof. We'll give that one over to Streak. They've been playing well on Core Overflow so far today. They can afford to give up one goal, but we'll see. Match not done with quite yet. It's into Overflow. Now, again, going to be on defense duty, trying to slow down the advance of these two forwards. Will has successfully cleared over to the other side. What can Elo have it get done to actually manage to just knock one in on their own goal? Call that a score, but in the form of a striker. So they are going to be able to get their way over to the other side. Now looking for one more barrier. Streak is out of the goal box, is looking to clear their way to make something happen here. And can Elo Heaven get it? Doesn't pick it up with the Phoenix Fire. And now is just going to be a nice knock-in from Streak, but it gets blocked at the very last minute.
I really like what they're doing right now. So if you notice, Streak walked up while Into Overflow walked back. So Into Overflow was staggered there. So they did a quick little rotation, which we don't, or I didn't see enough of in some of the previous matches. So this goes to show you how much communication and teamwork is going on. And you just saw it there. The way they play together is really powerful. And you can see that they are on the same page.
Great plays there. Core Overflow now up 2-0 in our first game of, the first game of our cast, the fourth game of the East Conference on the day. Stagger Swagger on the board immediately, going to be prioritized by a couple of folks here. That's going to be the first one drafted.
I think Stagger Swagger, to deny it is fine. I don't believe the Kai would have taken it, Daftgrass there. I personally would have went Timeless Creator. I'm a big fan of Amy's ultimate, but Streak is a better goalie than I am, so maybe he thought it was more important to deny the Stagger Swagger. I think Kai getting the stacks is also pretty big, and then we saw the remaining 4 people take Built Different here.
And Quad Built Different gonna have some big boys in this game, because everybody's getting that size increase, everybody getting the damage, and immediately gonna be using it as Elo Heaven, just getting a quick knockout there to start things off, and immediately the pressure comes in onto Daftgrass, who's already low on stagger themselves, and Elo Heaven just keeping the pressure on, looking to take this goalie down. Streak gets the score.
Great scores from Streak. I was actually going to mention that I believe the 4 build difference actually benefits Into Overflow the most because of his adrenaline rush. We're seeing Build Different offers no benefit defensively, so you just expect more kills to be happening starting from this round onward. And with the only person with Adrenaline Rush, you can see it pop right there. And again, like, he's moving so fast, he can do midfield, forward, goalie, whatever he wants. He's just the lizard.
Goodness, Elo Heaven, just all over him right now. That's an easy score for Core Overflow.
And yeah, it looks like it's gonna be quick work. The Build Different Infinite is really funny, and this might end up being a wrap for game 1 here. One thing that I want to point out is we're seeing a good amount of teamwork between the Juliet comboing with the Jakar. Some of these KOs are Jakar does a light tap from Into Overflow, and Julie finishing it off, giving Into Overflow that adrenaline rush.
Yeah, been incredibly effective here. That movement speed, that ability to cross over midfield so quickly, and another knockout there. That's been the recipe for success for Core Overflow. Constantly just bullying onto the opposing Drakkar, although it's going to be evened up there as double BO3 finds themselves a nice little slash, and now with Cameron back up, it's an advantage for the side of Comeback Kings. They push it over to the left side for the first time, it feels like, in a while. Now, what can Cameron get done? He is under-leveled at this point and is just getting bullied out by Into Overflow as they're going to look to keep this on to Daftgrass. They will knock down the last remaining barrier, and they are looking to close this one out quickly and easily, Mystic.
Yeah, take a look at the level difference here. Oh no, okay, Streak walking back, trying to pick up the core there again. But the level difference here is so massive because of how much more core touches is happening from Core Overflow. Good KO. I don't even know who got the KO there. But again, I see Into Overflow with the adrenaline rush, meaning he had some part of it. Well, he is so fast, it is so funny.
Yeah, just
they are getting
speeding
so many
around
KOs.
here as looking for the goal, and he finds it. Too far away is the goalie for Comeback Kings, and Core Overflow gonna take that in a clean 3-0 fashion.
Yeah, I thought I didn't even think Comeback Kings did that poorly. I think Core Overflow had better synergy together than Comeback Kings. I didn't see Double BO3 get that much value on the Zentaro. He wasn't being able to put that much pressure. I believe Julie is just simply the best brawler in the game right now. Does not care about if you are staggered or not. She can just drag you from halfway across the map and KO you, which is why she's so good at confirming kills. And we saw plenty of times where Int Overflow goes shotgun one, just light tap, Overflow with or Elo Heaven doing just a dash punch, KO, Int Overflow is running around, or he's just running everywhere. And it is so funny. So that's another thing. I also want to point out Streak on Amy is so good. He puts so much pressure. He gets to play up anywhere he wants. He's constantly jumping in, throwing out glitch pops, either securing barriers himself or just providing damage. With a turret to back up, Daftgrass on Kai can simply not keep up with that.
Yeah, no, certainly couldn't in that case. The turret provides so much additional pressure, as you said. Easy to underrate the goalie in a game where such an aggressive playstyle was adopted there by Core Overflow. But yeah, really well played across the board there into Overflow, constantly finding those opportunities along with Elo Heaven. And, a numbers advantage, good recipe for success in Omega Strikers, and they're able to replicate it over and over again. And from there on, once they have the level advantage, it's just so difficult for Comeback Kings to fulfill their name.
Yeah, if I'm Comeback Kings here, I would most likely want to see a Amy ban personally. I think Streak put in a lot of work there. Either that or get rid of the Juliet if you're not going to mirror it. I don't think the Zentaro-Juliet matchup is working out for them. I thought Cameron did good on the Drakkar, so I think he can keep up with Into Overflow in the Drakkar mirror, so I don't think you have to touch that. So that's what I would like to see change from going into this game too.
Seems like a good recipe here. We'll see if they are going to continue to take that Drakkar mirror matchup, or if they're going to try to change something up in the picks and bans. We are ready to move on in to game number 2 here between Core Overflow and Comeback Kings. Again, this is a best of 2, so we do have the potential to end in a tie. We're still in the regular season, just going to be looking to work out some seeding for the playoffs in a couple more weeks' time. It's going to be Imi's app to start things off for game number 2.
Imi's app, I immediately see Daftgrass on Rasmus. It's either I'm a big fan of Rasmus on this map, so either ban it out or play it. I think he's really powerful. Even if you don't feel like pulling people into the middle, into the pit, just the threat of being able to do it makes people play differently. So whether you have him on goalie or midfield, either one, have him in the game or have him banned. So there we see the ban come out.
Oh, going to be at least a little bit of a change of pace here. Daftgrass hovering the rune. We'll see if that's what they want to go for. Plays a lot of Kai in solo queue, but looks like they want to go for the rune this time around.
Going for the rune, we do see the Amy ban, which I think is going to make a big difference here. Let's see what Streak decides to go for as his goalie, but in terms of Comeback Kings, it's the same midfield forward combo of, or actually, we're going with the Juliet instead of the Zentaro this time, and it looks like Streak is going to be on Estelle goalie, and then Era and X as their forward combo.
Yeah, huge change up here from Core Overflow, going for a pretty different composition, taking the X, taking themselves, as you said, that Estelle goalie here, and now going to be the Juno as well. Or no, the Era, my bad.
So it looks like we had Castellas and Bulk Up start, with majority of the people taking Castellas. We see Era X on Castellas together. It's going to be so powerful for them. Honestly, that knowing that, maybe you ban one of those out, because the Castellas extension of 70% is so big, but Double doesn't care.
Yeah, no, Double was down on Stagger there for a little bit up against the X, but manages to just turn it back around, smack him right out of there. And now once again, it is going to be the blue side with the numbers advantage, but this time it's Comeback Kings and not Core Overflow. Double BO3, a little bit of a level lead as a result of that kill as well. Cameron now playing aggressively, looking to get it in onto Streak. Streak playing good defense so far, but they've moved over to this side. They've even pulled out Daftgrass. They know he can jump back anytime he needs to on that rune.
I really like Daftgrass's positioning right now. When they first got that barrier, it was because Daftgrass walked up and banished Streak, which led to this situation happening right here. So I think this team comp, or at least playstyle of Daftgrass being able to walk up more and provide more assistance, similar to how Streak was doing on game 1, is going to make a huge impact.
Yeah, love the unstable anomaly placement there from Daftgrass. Did so much for them to actually be able to end up scoring that goal. Now, going to be a little lead. Oh, Cameron just finds a nice little lock-in load there. Gets the X off the map once again. And now is going to push forward. Comeback Kings looking for the comeback here in this game number 2.
Interesting interaction there. So I actually think that was the Jakar ultimate, the Molten... I couldn't say the name. Molten Bolt. And because Into Overflow was standing on the edge of the Amy pit, even getting pushed away from it, he was in the KO box. So he just got immediately killed, even though he was getting pushed away from the pit.
An unfortunate position there for Into Overflow, but he makes up for it, comes back out, smacks in a quick goal up against Daftgrass. Just been bullying that goalie. That is what X does best. Just pop the Maximus, step up into the other goalie's face, and make it real hard for them to do their job.
So one interaction here between Into Overflow and Daftgrass is, if you're Into Overflow and you simply just stand on top of Daftgrass, any pillar that he spawns below him using his movement ability will just disappear instantly. He won't have the time to cast it completely. Oh, and good shot, being able to get the barrier. Daftgrass wasn't able to get back in time to defend.
And now into the elusive Cameron, going to just be trying to play this defensively, but is just getting beaten on by Into Overflow. Gonna get taken out, and Elo Heaven scores the goal in the meantime.
Yeah, it's looking like if Comeback Kings can manage to keep the core on the enemy's side, they tend to do well. But right now, the moment it's making it past halfway back to their end, Into Overflow is just running around. Just as I say that, double BO3 with a great dash punch into the middle, securing the KO, and I'm pretty sure Into Overflow had core flip there, so that's a big deny.
Yeah, not a lot of respect for the pit coming in here from the side of Core Overflow, particularly from Into Overflow, right? They just cannot manage to keep themselves away from that one in this match, and it's going to be making the difference here as Daftgrass steps forward, uses the flip, tries to make a goal happen. Into Overflow actually gets the trade back on the other side, though. Now a numbers advantage for Core Overflow. They're going to open up the goal while they're at it, and they want to score it right here, right now. Streak is coming out, getting ready to knock it back in. Bellringer nearly does the job, but the respawn comes through for double BO3 in time, and he gets a kill right off the bat. Stepping forward now, banished to buy some time from Daftgrass, but will it be enough here? Doesn't look like it. Going to be Into Overflow stepping up forward, looking to pass it over. Can't quite get it where he wants it. They are going to have to back away, and he's going to take it out again.
Double BO3 doing a great job. Immediately off of spawn, getting the KO on Elo Heaven, and then just now they're getting on Into Overflow. Now they have the man advantage walking up with the 3 of them. They're able to secure it. I actually want to point out that in that previous interaction, while double BO3 was taken out, Elo Heaven had an opportunity there to score if he walked a little bit more left at Daftgrass, because Daftgrass was able to clear straight up, which Elo Heaven should have been blocking, and that interaction there should have just immediately been their point. So it's hard to miss these things every now and then. Either way, more KOs are coming out. Into Overflow already taken out of the game for the time being. Double BO3 misses dash punch, but he'll be back up in a second. Let's see if we can get more kills.
Into Overflow finds himself face to face with the center pit once again. It's been how this game has been going over and over again, and it's taken us all the way to 5 in this first round. Into Overflow, though, pops the Maximus, looking to step forward. Can't quite get the barrier down, though. Streak stepping up, looking to keep the support on for the rest of the team, and does manage to get the kill there off of the crystals. Now going to be seeing if they can utilize this one to at least open up the goal, but the defense so far from Daftgrass has been great. Finally, they sneak it past Into Overflow with the bell ringer into the brush, is going to take it out and score the goal.
That was such a good bewitching beam from Elo Heaven. He hit both Juliet and Rune there, and because of the Castle S, the buff duration is 70% more. He was small forever. It led to the KO, and it led to the point.
Big difference being made there by the Era. Is going to be Estelle who gets first pick here, and oh boy, infinite prime time. We're going to see quite a few of those, I think, Mystic.
Yeah, I think it's fair for the X to go specialized training here. You go stacks on Julie, that's completely fine. She doesn't, neither one of those two utilize prime time as well as the rest of the cast. Meanwhile, Drakkar and Era definitely want that more. I think it's going to benefit the Era the most, just having that extra stack always building, and because of the cast still has 70% duration on that debuff, we're gonna see a lot of small characters on the side of Comeback Kings.
First game was big characters. Second game going to be small characters, as Daftgrass pressure onto him just proves to be a little bit too much. Immediately gives up the barrier, and Into Overflow looking for the kill. Can't quite find the bull rush, though, and that might have just bought enough space for the kill and for the goal. Into Overflow gets a little 2-for-1. Yeah,
and you saw, like, double BO3 was unable to do anything that round. He got Got hit with the beam twice. Just small. Could barely walk to the core on the bottom. He was just kind of stuck being small walking around. And Elo Heaven was guarding that top side really well. Just giving the size boost and the debuff at the same time. And you can see so much damage. Into Overflow is just there in between 3 people, putting on what X does, being just a big menace. Trying to KO Double BO3, finally gets the KO there. Daffgrass walking up saying, is like, you know what, I'm just going to trust my teammates to block from behind me. Let me see if I can be a forward. I used to be a forward in beta, I can still do it now. Maybe we can get something happening here.
Yeah, Comeback Kings, you know, we thought all 3 were goalies. Turns out all 3 are forwards as well, as Daffgrass goes for the role swap. Doesn't end up paying off this time, though, as that's going to be another goal for Core Overflow. Up 2-0 in this round, 1 goal away from being up 2-0 in the match as a whole, and looking to make it 2-0 on the day up against Comeback Kings.
Yeah, it's really just looking like a draft different here between the double cast the last. There's so much pressure going on. Elo Heaven just walks up, makes Juliet small, walks down, and they're playing with the man up the entire time.
Yeah, a well-earned MVP there for Int Overflow, just constantly killing on the X, constantly able to put that pressure on the goal, and I think scored nearly all 3 goals. Maybe it was only 2, but is going to grab that quick strike and look to keep that momentum up.
Quick strikes with the specialized training. The chrono boost pickup is huge. Era does not get that, so that's a good deny there. But overall, X getting the quick strikes might be enough. I'm surprised no one takes Stagger Swagger here, but
still hope.
Maybe. Oh, there we go. So I think that's fine. I don't really think. I think on Cameron you also just take Stagger Swagger for the movement speed. At least you get something. Maybe start living a little bit more, because you can see Cameron's already at half. You'd be getting nearly full value of Stagger Swagger right here, and he's not going to be doing much with that heavy impact.
He's a tiny stagger Drakkar. He's going to get pushed right out by the piercing beam and gets taken off the map. Now, again, a numbers advantage for Core Overflow. This is where they've gotten most of their goals. Dashing forward, Streak going to be able to use that Rose Warp to take out the barrier. Now Elo Heaven is ready to apply the pressure into Overflow, doing what he does best in the middle of all 3 members. Crystals come out. The pressure is unrelenting, but Double BO3 sneaks a kill in and flips it back over to the side of Comeback Kings. Daffgrass now going to have to play a little bit of defense, but wants to use this numbers advantage as best as they can. Really wants to at least open up the goal. They will be able to get at least that done, but Int Overflow is back, and he wants some revenge. Looking for the double kill, at least got 1 in there, and now Streak stepping forward along with the rest of the team. They want this goal so bad, and they're going to get it with ease.
Int Overflow has that specialized training plus quick strikes there. Cameron just got deleted immediately. But if you actually notice, WB3 lived a little bit longer because of the Stagger Swagger. He had no health, so he kept walking up a little bit more and was able to live for just a second longer before finally getting taken out.
Just making sure that they buy enough time while they're down a member for Int Overflow to rejoin the fray, and Int Overflow gets the rest done right for you as long as he's got that Maximus available. A nice little pickup for Streak, but it's responded to by Cameron. 2-on-2 on the map now. Elo Heaven just waiting out this banish, will go for the flip. Now just knocks it in as slowly as possible. There's the double KO. Streak from the goalie position, picking him up. Now looking to see what they can finish off with Int Overflow back on the map. The KOs just keep raining on in. Int Overflow cannot be stopped. In the elusive is Double BO3, but when you're elusive, you can't defend the goal. Almost getting scored on, but they do manage to keep the core alive for now. Core Overflow just looking to keep this pressure on, looking to utilize their X. They're willing to let the core sit there for a while.
There is so much pressure coming on from Int Overflow. He's just walking around and people are walking away from him. Purely out of fear of his cooldowns being up. And great angle there, hitting it perfectly on that bottom pocket, just below where Daffgrass set up the pillar.
Yeah, wishing those anomalies could be a little bit larger here, as Daffgrass hasn't gotten the opportunity to go for any of those awakenings quite yet. We're a little frozen here.
I think we should be fine. Cameron getting taken out. Int Overflow walking up. He still has his ultimate. He's putting on so much pressure there, just body blocking nearly everything. As long as Elo Heaven can keep feeding him passes, eventually it's going to get through. Right there, the barrier goes down. Double BO3 most likely will get taken down next. Just misses. He's walking up, almost is able to secure the barrier on the other side. And it looks like actually Int Overflow is pretty low. Maybe they can KO him here, get some catch-up EXP, and start moving things along. There it is. Cameron finally getting the KO, getting the level up. And might be time for a comeback from Comeback Kings.
Yeah, Deathgrass gets the flip off, knocks it off the center, now passing it down to Double BO3. Cameron is there at midfield to make sure it finds its intended target. Double BO3, though, getting out pressured here by Int Overflow, getting forced back away, and just like that, it's Core Overflow on the front foot, but Double BO3 has snuck it past him and does manage to open up the goal. Deathgrass has to jump back just in time, goes in for the banish, but now he is 2 versus 1. They're going to look to smack this right in. Great defense there from Cameron and Deathgrass, but it's not over yet. They are continuing to keep on the pressure. Elo Heaven can't quite find their way in, and that's going to be a KO for the side of the Comeback Kings. Cameron and Double BO3, they knock it in with a great pass. 3-man goal.
Yeah, finally getting a little bit more coordination going, being able to take out that X who's putting on so much pressure. If you can get Int Overflow out, at least you can walk up and free up some of the space more to make these coordinated passes and try to attack that barrier and eventually the gold. But as long as Elo Heaven here is getting these beams and making Juliet so small I can barely see her on my screen, it's almost as if he's taking out someone for like 5 seconds of the match every time that primary lands.
Woo. And speaking of taking someone out, how about taking someone out for 10 seconds there? Streak finds a little bit of an ultimate there to take one out. And now Deathgrass going to get pressured even more. That's going to be the barrier down, and the goal nearly gets scored. They nearly find a little pocket there up in the upper right corner, but can't quite find it. Now keeping it forward. Int Overflow has got the ultimate running, is looking to see if he can get it in there with the X Maximus. Can't quite find it, but the Bell Ringer on top of Deathgrass gets the KO on the goalie. Looking to make it 2. Finds the double, finds the ace, finds the goal, and Core Overflow. They take it 2-0.
Wrapping up the game with an ace, going 2-0 in the matchup. I really think it comes down to the comps that were drafted in both games. Not saying that the Juliet X or the Juliet Jakar is bad into the X era, but picking that when Castellas is up definitely benefited Core Overflow way more than Comeback Kings.
13 KOs, Mystic. That's a lot of KOs. Into Overflow really pulling his weight on the X there. It just didn't look like there were great responses available for Comeback Kings once that X started getting on top of them.
Yeah, it I don't know what they were supposed to do there, but Int Overflow and Elo Heaven were working really well together. Elo Heaven was doing really good on those primaries, pretty much just exclusively targeting Double BO3 on Juliet, taking him out completely of the game. And anytime Int Overflow was about to go pop his X Maximus, he would not only slow the Juliet or Cameron, but at the same time buff up the X. And it just made it so much easier for X or Int Overflow on X to go secure those KOs. And anytime Comeback Kings had an opportunity, it was because they were actually able to take care of the X or run around a little bit. I do think if Cameron took Stagger Swagger, we would have had a little bit of a closer game. Maybe they make it a round or two more, maybe they don't, but I think that is like a pretty big or incorrect decision on the Awakenings there. It helped Double BO3 a lot more, and we saw that Cameron just getting immediately taken out on repeat.